Okay. StreamYard has let me know that I'm live. And that means that I just need for YouTube to let you know that I'm live. And then we can go to work, baby. We can go to work on an impromptu episode of VypDrive. And oh, there it is. There it is. The YouTubes have let everybody know that I'm live, and make sure that I'm not messing myself up here. Hold on me a second here. Hold on. Wait. I want to make sure no. Yep. No way. Okay, cool. All right. Ooh, it's interesting. Technically, T is out there. I think it's interesting that technically T is out there. I think we briefly talked about this a little bit on Twitter, briefly, but I'm gonna get into a little bit more on the podcast. I mean, you guys see the title of the podcast. We got to talk about leaks and if or if not they have ruined the tech industry. I will get into that momentarily. Oh man, You know what, Mike? It might be. We've talked about this a lot. I know, it might be a question that came from a tech fight. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I would be surprised though, because like I said, this question has been talked about a lot. But I'm not gonna be here long today. I'm not gonna keep you guys too long. I'm just gonna give you know, StreamYard wants to be janky and messed up and stuff like that. What's up, Digital Slang? How you doing, man? How you doing? I see you out there, baby. I see you out there. Now, why won't let me click on you? Come on. Oh my gosh, StreamYard's tripping. There now it's working. I'm like, what is happening here? All right. Oh, look, we got James Herrera. What's up, James? How you doing? All right, so don't expect me people to rock out for this one. This one's impromptu. What's up, Rashid? How you doing, man? But I'm gonna just get into it and we'll go from there. So, this is VypDrive episode 95. 95, baby. And I'm asking a simple question. Have leaks ruined the tech industry? I'm going to talk about it next on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And it seems kind of weird, but this is going to be a solo podcast today. Just your boy Viper. That's all you get. No guests, no must, no nothing, no extras, no sprinkles on top, no cherries on the bottom. Not today, baby. It's all Viper, all raw for the entire podcast, however long it is. It's just Viper going coast to coast today. But I'm here to talk about a simple question, which I have coined this podcast title at. Have leaks ruined the tech industry? Now, there's been a lot of talk on either side. There's a lot of people out there that feel like tech have not ruined the tech. There's a lot of people out there that feel like leaks have not ruined the tech industry. There's people that say leaks have ruined the tech industry. But the side that I tend to fall on is no, leaks have not ruined the tech industry. In my estimation, leaks have only made the tech industry more exciting. They have actually, like, the cool thing to me about leaks is that I feel like leaks have allowed us, especially as it relates to these tech events, leaks have allowed us to like have some sort of expectations. Now, whether those expectations are met or not, that's not really the issue. I mean, that goes to another matter entirely. But I feel like because these leaks exist, it's a reason to get excited about future tech. So take WWDC 2020, for example. There have been a lot of leaks leading up to WWDC 2020, which happens to be a week from today, June 22nd, and going down. Apple's annual software developers conference is going down. We've had a lot of leaks about what might come in iOS 14. I made videos about leaks alluding to WWDC and what to expect in iOS 14. Hell, I've made leaks about potential hardware we might see at WWDC. So just to break it down for the cliff notes here, as far as hardware goes, we could see some Apple over-the-ear headphones at WWDC. We could see the announcement of Apple's AirTag, which have been talked about for a while now, but Apple has not made them official yet. But there's a good chance that those will finally be unveiled at WWDC. Now, as it relates to iOS 14, there have been a lot of rumors that Apple might allow some of your third-party apps to be default, like Mail, Calendar, and Browser. You might be able to change those from default Apple apps to default third-party apps. Excuse me. There might be some new features coming to iMessage, like the ability to retract an iMessage, which would be pretty cool. But again, these are all leaks. These are all rumors. These are all conjecture, speculation. None of this stuff is official until Apple goes out on stage at WWDC and announce it or not announce it. So I think, a lot of times when these tech events come around, the events like WWDC or an iPhone keynote or a Samsung Unpacked, a lot of times we know much of everything that's going to be talked about at these events because of the leaks. And I think that's probably a big reason why a lot of people will feel like leaks have ruined the tech industry, because, a lot of times these leaks are very accurate, and a lot of times we do know what's coming at these events. But again, if we didn't have the leaks, right, we would be going into these events completely blind. We would not know anything. And that might be exciting for a lot of people, not knowing what's coming, to actually be surprised. But I don't know. I guess it's just me, right? I want to know what to expect. I don't want to be completely spoiled, but I want to know what to expect when I'm about to go watch an iPhone keynote or a Google keynote or things like that. I want to know what's going on. I want a reason to get excited about what's coming. Like this year, one of the biggest leaks about iPhone 12 is whether or not the iPhone 12, or at least the iPhone 12 Pro models, will have a 120 hertz refresh rate. That is a leak. That is a rumor. Obviously, what the? Oh, dude. Hold on, you all. I think somebody's at my door. I'll be kidding me right now. I'll be right back. All right, that was a little weird. I thought I heard somebody at the door, but apparently I was tweaking. All right, cool. Where was I? Now I got to pick up where I left off. Damn. You hate that stuff, man. You got you're on a train of thought, and then it gets interrupted, and you got to relocate that train of thought. That's all right. Whatever. So what I was saying, so one of the biggest leaks or rumors that we've heard about iPhone 12 is whether or not it's going to have a 120 hertz refresh rate. That's like the biggest thing going on with iPhone 12 right now. But all of this is rumor, it's conjecture, it's a leak. Nothing is official. We just don't know. But that's one of the cool things about when the iPhone keynote comes later this year. I will be looking forward to whether or not Apple confirms that the iPhone 12 Pro will have a 120 hertz refresh rate. Some people might not appreciate knowing that information. I, for one, I like knowing it because I like being able to look forward to new features coming on potential new devices down the line. But for me, that makes the iPhone keynote that much more exciting, because now I know there's a potential for an iPhone 12 to have a 120 hertz refresh rate. Had I not known that going into the iPhone keynote, then I'm like, I don't know. Obviously, as you guys have heard me talk about before on the podcast and the live stream, the big thing I want for iPhones, and probably something I'm not going to get no time soon, and that's picture-in-picture. I've heard nothing about that, but I would be more excited if there was at least a rumor that picture-in-picture was being considered, but I've heard nothing. So it's kind of hard to get excited when I've heard nothing about the possibility of picture-in-picture. Now, if Apple somehow integrates that into iOS 14 at WWDC, it'll be one of the best kept secrets of all time. That will be pretty cool, but It's just not going to happen. And the day and age that we are in, with how easy information is to assess and how easily people are giving it up, leaks are here. Leaks are here to stay. Leaks aren't going anywhere. Yeah, you might not like them, but it's just something that you got to deal with. And if you don't want to deal with the leaks, then you might want to stay off social media, stay off the tech website, just stay away because leaks are here. Okay, they're not going nowhere. There's whole industries devoted to leaks. People have built their whole YouTube channels based off of leaks. I mean, why do you think that people pay money to like access this information and have these leaks? Because leaks are here. They're popular. People want to know. People, that's the other thing. People always want to know, right? People are nosy by nature. They always want to know what's going on. And as long as people are inquisitive and they know and they want to know what's going on, leaks will exist. So actually, I was watching one of the Saturday Night Tech Fights this week with my man Tech King Mike, and somebody in his live chat said something about OEMs hate leaks, and I turned my head. I'm like, what? Oh, what? Oh no! I don't think it's that simple, baby. Now, yes, of course, most manufacturers don't want the information getting out there, but to go as far to say they hate leaks. I mean, Google wasn't hating leaks last year when they leaked out everything about the Pixel 4 practically, or when they were leaking stuff about the Pixel 3 before then. I mean, I don't think Samsung is hating leaks too much when they leak out their stuff every year. I mean, my boy, the world's most accurate Apple, I'm not keeping up. See, I'm getting out of line. My boy, the world's most accurate Samsung insider, Max Weinbach, told me that he can go to the same place every year to access Samsung's leaked information, which means that if that's the case, that if Mac can go back to the same place every year to get new information about upcoming Samsung devices, then Samsung knows about the leak and they haven't went to patch it, so they don't care. They want the information out there. Some of these leaks are intentional, and they are intentionally leaked by the OEMs themselves. Do you really think this information is just getting out there because people are just digging? No. No. Leaks are happening because the manufacturer want them to happen. Sometimes they need these leaks to happen. And let me give you an example of a leak that needs to happen for a manufacturer, right? Say a manufacturer is working on a new design for a smartphone or a new design for a product, this, that, and the other. Say the manufacturer want to get like they want to get a post of how people will react to a potential new design. Maybe the manufacturer doesn't want to go full bore with that design if they know people are not going to like that design. So what will that manufacturer do? They may leak a CAD render, or they may leak a spec or a blueprint of the design. They want to get that leak out there because they want to gauge public perception of that design. That is why the leak is out there. It's not because somebody found it or whatever. It's because the manufacturer intentionally wants that CAD design out there to gauge public perception of that design. That is an example of an OEM or manufacturer intentionally leaking stuff so they can get that public feedback so they can know whether or not to keep going with that particular design. I remember way back when the iPhone 10 first came out and we knew that the notch was coming, right? And it was so crazy because I think it was back in January of 2017, we got our first leak of the notch. And people were just losing their minds and things like that. But the crazy thing that happened with that particular leak is that the Android OEM got wind of it, and oh my God, every Android phone that could come out with a notch that year came out with a notch. It was buffoonery. It was crazy. Like, the funny thing is that everybody universally all over hated the notch. Nobody liked the notch. But these Android OEMs wanted to be so like the iPhone. They wanted their phone to look so much like the iPhone that year that they threw a notch on there. They stamped a notch on their phone, even if it was hideous or not. They stamped it on there, and they just did what they had to do. It's crazy. Nobody wanted the notch, but that didn't matter because all the Android OEMs put the notch on all their phones. And this is even before iPhone even came out that year. The iPhone 10 wasn't even released until November of 2017. But Android OEMs had the notches on their phones at MWC, which was in February of that year. I mean, they were unveiling these phones at MWC. I mean, and all throughout the year. Hell, the only Android OEM that didn't come out with a notch, I think, was Samsung and maybe Huawei. Samsung and Huawei didn't do a notch. Everybody else, every other Android OEM that could do a notch had a notch on their phone back in 2017. It was kind of nutty. But again, I think universally, nobody wanted the notch. No, everybody hated the notch, man. It was like, what is up, man? People hated the notch. But again, it's part of what I'm trying to say about leaks, some leaks being intentional, because if they want that early feedback, sometimes you got to leak stuff. So it is what it is. Shout out to the 18 of y'all watching this podcast live on YouTube. I appreciate you guys hanging out each and every week with your boy. If you want to donate to the podcast, you do have the option to super chat. It's not required, but anything that you're willing to donate will be greatly appreciated. No doubt, no doubt. You also have the option of becoming a channel member. Now, I know becoming a channel member is a little bit easier if you're on an Android device since you have the join button. But if you happen to be watching this on an iOS device and you don't have that join button, the link that I just pasted in the chat will alleviate that issue. If you want to become a channel member, just be aware that if you do become a channel member, it is a monthly recurring fee. There are 3 tiers. There's a $3 tier, I think a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. Just pick whichever one you're comfortable with and rock out if you choose to do that. Again, it's not required, but it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you don't want YouTube taking 30% of your super chat because they're greedy like that, if you don't want YouTube taking 30% of your super chat, you also have the option to buy me a coffee. That link is in the description as always. I get 95% of that as opposed to the 70% of super chats I get because YouTube is greedy. And yeah, that's how YouTube it is. But yeah, I appreciate you guys rocking out with me each and every week on the podcast. Shout out to those of y'all listening on audio only today. Thank you. Let me try it again. Shout out to those of you all listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive. I appreciate you guys rocking out with me, rocking out each and every time I drop a new episode of the podcast. If you want to donate to the podcast, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. It is not required, but anything that you're willing to donate will be greatly appreciated. So thank you guys who listen to me on the audio side of things. Also, if you happen to be listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as to help more people discover VypDrive. I'm trying to get this podcast back into the top 200 of Apple Podcasts in the tech session. We actually cracked the top 200 a couple of weeks ago, so I'm trying to get back into the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple Podcasts. So if you leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, that will help me get back into the top 200 where this podcast belongs. So please consider that. I appreciate you all. I see some of you all out there talking about my headphones. These are actually the new ones I picked up yesterday. These are the Soundcore Life 2 Neos. The only difference between these and the Q10s is that they have titanium drivers, and I was trying to figure out what that even means. And apparently, I guess the titanium drivers are lighter, and they're able to produce a more consistent sound. They definitely sound amazing. The bass up button on these is definitely legit. The bass is rich and clear. It sounds better than the Q10s a little bit. Now, the Q10s have more bass by default, but I think the bass on these Life 2 Neos is cleaner and more consistent. It just sounds more rich than the Q10 bass. But either way, you can't go wrong, man. You can't go wrong. Renee Ritchie says, YouTube drinks 30% of Viper more crap. Seriously, YouTube greedy, man. YouTube is greedy. They play too much. So, since you guys rock out with me on the live stream, things like that, and you watch, I'm curious to get you guys some thoughts on this whole leak. Do you guys believe that leaks have ruined the tech space? Do you think that leaks are bad, or do you feel like leaks are necessary? Like I told you guys before, I think leaks make these events more exciting. It gives you some expectations. Actually, let me dig in a little bit. Let me dig a little bit more into that before I take you guys some thoughts. So the other aspect of leaks and whether or not they ruin the tech space is that sometimes these leaks, I say a lot of times, things that leak don't come true. And I think a lot of times we as consumers get upset at the companies for not delivering on leaks. Now, I know this is something that John Prosser has addressed over and over again about how we get mad at the company for not delivering on things that were leaked. when the company never announced that feature in the first place. It was just a leak. It was just a rumor. But we get mad when it doesn't get delivered to the product because of the leak. Perfect example being last year, we all thought that the iPhone would come with reverse wireless charging because that was part of the leak. I think even Bloomberg leaked that right before the keynote that the iPhone would indeed have, or actually, no, they leaked that it would be Nick. It was Nick. But throughout all of last year, we all thought that the iPhone 11 will come with reverse wireless charging. Come to find out when the keynote was over with, there was no reverse wireless charging to be found. So I think a lot of people were mad at Apple because they did not deliver on that feature. Newsflash. That's not Apple's fault. Apple didn't promise you reverse wireless charging. You can't be mad at Apple for not delivering on a leak. They're a leak. They're rumors. They're not meant to be taken seriously. That's why most leakers or most YouTubers who report on leaks, they will tell you to take that leak with a grain of salt because there's a big possibility that the leak won't come to fruition. Again, these are leaks. These are rumors. These companies are working on so many features and services and things like that before these products ever come out to the mass public that some of these rumored features are going to get cut. They're going to be cut out because either they don't fit with what the company's trying to do or they kind of take away from the user experience of the product. So don't get mad if a certain leak, actually I should say, don't get mad at the company if a leak that you were looking forward to doesn't come out. It's not the company's fault. They didn't promise you that. The only thing that you could take as official is when that company goes on stage at their event and they announce feature this, feature that, feature this, feature that. That is when you can get excited because that is official. That means that the feature is definitely coming to the product. But these leaks from these YouTubers and these websites and things like that, these are just leaks. They're just rumors. They are not meant to be taken seriously because there's a good possibility that they will not come to fruition. So there's no point in getting mad at the OEM for not delivering on a leak promise when they didn't promise it. They didn't tell you that. Like, it's funny. It kind of reminds me of last year's iPhone keynote. Apple went on stage at the keynote and they talked about Deep Fusion and how Deep Fusion was doing this and Deep Fusion was doing that. It was a little disappointing because number one, when the phone came out, Deep Fusion was nowhere to be found because there was a software upgrade later on down the line. So we didn't even get Deep Fusion until I think 2 or 3 weeks after the iPhone 11 launch. And even when we got Deep Fusion, it was hard to get excited about it because number one, you didn't even know when the feature was being used because Apple made it in such a way that there wasn't anything that we could toggle or anything like that. It was just baked into the software of the iPhone. So if the camera felt inappropriate, it would activate Deep Fusion, but that wasn't something that we could activate. So, the way they did it, it was kind of hard. It was kind of difficult to get excited about Deep Fusion. Number one, it didn't get delivered on time at the launch of the iPhone, but Apple, they said it was going to be late. But still, when you talk about a product at a keynote, you would think that the product or the feature, or I should say, when you talk about a feature at a keynote, you would think that the feature would come with the phones launching, but Deep Fusion was late. And like I said, when Deep Fusion officially launched like a month later or whatever, it really wasn't all that it was crapped up to be because we didn't even know. But it's just, it's like it was not what it crapped up to be. So sometimes the leaks that we hear, even when they are delivered, they don't line up to our expectations anyway. So when you're talking about these leaks, when you're talking about expectations of these brands, you got to be careful to temper your expectations because it might not be what you think. Another example of this is the upcoming Apple AR glasses. Now, our buddy John Prosser had a whole video dedicated to reporting on the Apple AR glasses. There is a good chance that Apple will be coming out with some AR glasses. Either they'll announce them this year or next year. But again, if they don't come out with the AR glasses this year, you can't get mad at Apple because Apple they have not said anything about AR glasses yet. Yes, we know that there's LiDAR on the iPad Pro. Yes, we expect a LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 Pro. But that does not mean that we will get the AR glasses this year. We know that Apple is probably using that LiDAR data to hone the AR glasses. But right now, Apple's AR glasses are a leak. They are a figment of our imagination. They are not real. They're something that we hope come to fruition at some point. But again, anything that you hear about AR glasses from Apple right now is leaked, rumor, conjecture, speculation. It's not real. So if Apple comes out next week at WWDC and there's no AR glasses, or they come later on this year at the iPhone 12 keynote and there's no AR glasses, you can't be mad at Apple because Apple never said anything about AR glasses. It's just more rumor leaks that we were excited about. But again, you can't be mad at Apple because they never even talked about AR glasses. They haven't talked about them at all. Actually, I think anytime they've been asked about them, Tim Cook, like he does a little swerve and he talks about something else, or he'll deflect and talk about augmented reality as a whole and not the AR glasses in particular. I mean, take that for what you will. But again, you can't get excited about a product that Apple has never announced. So, I mean, whether or not we get AR glasses this year, I would say temper your expectations. And as John Proston said, even if we do get AR glasses from Apple this year, you should definitely temper your expectations because, number one, they're going to be a first-generation product. So they're not going to be everything that you think they should be and then some because Apple has to work out the kinks and things like that, and they have to start off slowly. And I think sometimes we just expect too much from these companies, and we're not realistic in our expectations. So I think the main thing, especially as it relates to leaks and rumors, is to be realistic in your expectations and just realize that leaks and rumors are just that. They're just leaks. They're just rumors. Don't get too excited because there's a good chance that they might not even come true. Now, with that said, how do you all in the chat feel about leaks? Are you pro-leaks or are you anti-leaks? Renee, that's also how I feel about Star Wars sequels. Viper be like, fuse deeper. You don't. Hey, I was looking, man. I'm like, where's this deep fusion? I can't find it. Where is it? All right, so James says leaks okay. Leaks are okay, but I hate it when it's leaked, and then when it comes down to it, it doesn't happen. Again, you could be mad about that, but just don't be mad at Apple because that's not Apple's fault. I mean, that's just us getting our expectations up and then being let down when the leaks don't happen. Rashid said leaks are fine, just wish there were more surprises. Yeah, sometimes, there are surprises, but it's very rare these days that things can be kept secret, especially with all these people out here on the hunt. And some of these people are willing to do illegal things to obtain leaked information, such as pay for it. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it is illegal to pay for leaked information. It is actually literally illegal. So anybody that pays for leaked information is breaking the law. So, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen because we know it happened. So it definitely happened, but it is against the law. You're not supposed to do that. That's no. That is no. Hell happens. Shout out to those of y'all listening with the Life Q10 headphones. Yo, the Life Q10 headphones are legit. I got my red and black right here in hand. I got the Life 2 Neos on my head right now. These are legit. I was watching El Jefe's video about the Life Q10, the black ones, and I thought mine was a defective pair. But after listening to El Jefe or watching El Jefe's video this morning, I realized that my black Life 2 Q10s are not defective. They just changed the sound signature on them, which kind of sucks. I kind of like the sound on the original Q10 better, but that's just me. But the sound on these Life 2 Neos is legit. I am down. Let me see. Let me go back. Make sure I didn't miss anything up here. I think we talking about popcorn. I got a lot of Q10 fans in the chat. Yo, like I said, the Q10s are legit, man. You guys should definitely go check out El Jefe's affiliate links if you haven't already. The Q10s are in the building. I love them. I got two pairs of them. Even though the black ones pretty much are riding the bench now because I don't like the way they sound. But hey, that's just me. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let me go back. All right, P. Martin said, those CAD and mode iPhone 12 leaks make me wonder what happened to the smaller notch and LiDAR sensor. I have to believe that there will be a LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 this year. I don't know. I haven't seen those latest camera, but I got to believe there will be a LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 12 this year because that's a big part of Apple's AR project is having that data. So I find it hard to believe that Apple won't have a LiDAR sensor on that iPhone 12. But, again, these are all leaked rumors and conjecture, so we don't know. El Jefe, he's waiting for LB to leak these new 2021 popcorn flavors. Oh, yo, LeBaron, you better get on it, man. You better get on it, baby. You better get on it. P. Mark said, pro leaks 100%. Okay. Like I said, I just broke down that I am definitely pro leaks. I like the excitement that leaks provide, especially as it relates to these tech events. I like the fact that I know a little bit of what's going to happen next week at WWDC, but I'm sure I'll still be surprised. I mean, everything can't be leaked. Some things are really held to the best, so there will be a couple of surprises at WWDC, but for the most part, we'll probably know everything that's coming. Oh, Tech King Mike said he can't stand leaks. And I know my man Technically T, who was out there earlier, I know he doesn't like leaks either. And that's cool. Like I said, sometimes you just want to be surprised, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to be surprised, man. You just gotta do it. You gotta do it. Oh, looks like Tish won the Gadget Cast headphones. Oh yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Oh man, and here we go, Greg out here chilling for his own headphones. He's out here chilling, man. You out here chilling, man. All right, see, Tech Level Mama says, I am a I don't care type person when it comes to leaks. So she doesn't even care. She don't give a damn. She's like, yo, you leak it, cool. You don't leak it, I don't care. She don't care either way. Hey, Renee, since Renee is watching, I don't know if he spoke about this. Renee, how do you feel about leaks, Renee? Are you pro leaks? Are you anti leaks? I am curious to get Renee's thoughts on the leaks. Gwendolyn G, what's going on? How you doing? Yo. Yeah, I'm curious to get Renee's thoughts on leaks. I don't. Maybe he talked about it earlier up here. I must have missed it, maybe, but I have not seen Renee's thoughts on leaks. I'm curious. It's funny because I know I talked to Renee before about why he doesn't do leaks himself. Because it's so crazy, and when you leak information like that, you could potentially be putting people's livelihoods in jeopardy if you don't take care of their privacy and security and things like that when you're leaking the information that they're giving to you. But yeah, I wonder what Renee thinks. So he said, these conversations always remind me of please stop punching yourself. Yeah, maybe Renee leave? Oh no, Renee's here. All right, let me go down here. Renee says, where'd he go? There he is. He said, Renee says, I'm a simple person. If you read leaks, don't complain about being bored when you watch the show. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. Renee said, if you read the leaks, don't complain about being bored when you watch the show. Boom. Oh, man. Woo! Renee with the hard-hitting facts, baby. Renee with the hard-hitting facts right there. I agree. And that's perfect. That is perfect. If you don't like leaks, just stay away from them. Avoid the leaks. You know where leaks come from. If you're not into leaks, you probably shouldn't watch Everything Apple Pro. You should definitely stay away from John Prosser and Max Weinbach and some of these tech publications that post leaks and things like that, because they're going to post the leaks. So, like Renee said, if you don't want the leaks, or if you consume the leaks, don't be mad. But stay away from the leaks too. Don't be consuming the leaks if you don't want it. Like, it is just that simple. Let's see. Tech Key Mike and Renee, I'll try my best not to read them and then might check them out after the show. Hey, that's cool too. That's another cool thing to do, right? After these events conclude, going back and seeing which leaks were accurate and which leaks were not. That's pretty cool. But again, like I said, if you consume the leak, don't get mad that you're bored during the show. No, that's not what I hit. Where did it go? All right, the artist Haven says, I'm the kind of person that I don't believe it till I see it. It doesn't matter what the product is either. So it doesn't matter what y'all leaking to Tish. Tish ain't believing nothing until it's in front of her eyes. That's a good way to be. That's a good way to be. People can talk a big game all they want, but until you see what's happening in front of your eyes, it's not real. See, Tish understands the game. She understands that no matter how many leaks there are, it ain't real until it's real. Woo. Techie might say they're everywhere, man. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. That's kind of true too. There are leaks literally everywhere, but I mean, you can still. I mean, there are people that say like whole social media like detox, and so if people can detox from social media, then I'm guessing you can detox from leaks. Renee says, working in the industry, it's impossible to avoid tech leaks, but I take them with so much thought. I'm happy with the show. Yeah, I mean, especially for what we do. I mean, we report on the latest news anyway, so I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid leaks given what we do as creators. But I think if you don't want to consume leaks, you can stay away if you want to. But yeah, given what we do, being in the tech space, like you said, Renee, it's kind of hard to avoid information. I mean, that's information. We have to consume it. Why are we talking about cancel Travis in the chat? What are y'all doing out there? Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Oh my Lord. Yeah, y'all can't cancel Greg no more. Greg is the champion. Greg is the Battle Royale champion. And the cool and the beautiful thing about what happened Saturday night is that Greg said on Friday Night Viper that he was going to take it all. He told me on Friday Night Viper he was going to take it. He went into the fight and practically ran. He was almost like Ronda Rousey running through the women's division in the UFC. Greg practically ran through the entire lineup on Saturday night. And he only lost in a controversy, more or less. But my man Greg ran through the entire lineup. He literally ran through everybody on Saturday night. He cleaned out the division like Ronda Rousey cleaned it out in UFC. It was crazy to watch. My man Greg said he was going to win, and he won. It's one thing to talk, but it's a whole other thing to back it up. And my man Savage Greg Ali backed it up, man. That's right, Greg. You earned your new nickname. You are now Savage Greg Ali. My man out here acting like Ali, calling the shots. Cleaning them out, baby. Clean them out. I respect that. I respect that. Tech Lover Mama says, leaks are predictions. People who really love leaks because they're saying, I told you so. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I know one or two of those I told you so people. Yeah, that's right. Greg came in and destroyed it, got knocked out, and came back and won. That's right. Greg, the killer, man. Greg. Renee said it was like watching Juggernaut run into a building. Literally, my man Greg ran through everybody. It was legit. Oh, we got Zach Talk Tech. What's up, Zach? How you doing? And Zach, this was an impromptu live stream, man. I've been live for like 36 minutes apparently. So yeah. I'm about to get up out of here in a few minutes, but I think I made my piece about this subject. Right, Greg? You handle business. I'm still proud of you, Greg. I'm still proud of you, baby. You handle business, baby. You handle business. Oh, what do we have here? We got Exquisite Bliss. I haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing, Exquisite? Welcome back. Welcome back. Woo! Renee said, Viper's always live. It seems like it. It seems like it. It does seem like I'm always live. But hey, I am taking advantage of the quarantine and people being home. So I've been lucky enough to nail down a lot of guests on this live stream or on this podcast because people are home. But I think I'm going to wrap this up. For those of y'all watching on YouTube, tomorrow, assuming there's no crazy news that breaks in the Apple world, Mark Gurman is coming to the podcast. I did not stutter. It is not a typo. That's right. Bloomberg, Mark Gurman is going to be my guest tomorrow on VypDrive. Assuming everything goes okay, the show will start at 4 p.m. Eastern time because Mark is out there on the West Coast. He's on Pacific, so we're doing it early in the day. So you will definitely want to come back tomorrow for my chat with Mark Gurman. He is practically the best Apple reporter out there. He's not a creator. He's an actual tech reporter. So this will be interesting. I've never talked to an actual, I can't say that. What I can say is I have never talked to a non-creator reporter before. Like this dude is 100% journalist. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. Should be a lot of Apple talk with WWDC being a week away. So yeah, Mark Gurman is coming to VypDrive tomorrow afternoon. So definitely come back for that. It's going to be lit. It's going to be good. Renee said it's going to be all basketball. I don't know about that. Unless Apple starts making basketball. Woo! But thank you guys for watching the podcast today. I appreciate you guys. If you super chatted, brought me a coffee, or became a channel member, thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate you guys rocking out with me each and every podcast episode. So I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to those of y'all that listen to the podcast on audio only. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, if you want to donate, if you want to support the podcast, check the show notes, baby. There will be links in the show notes for you to do that. Remember, it's not required, but anything that you would, remember, it's not required, but anything that you are willing to do is greatly appreciated. So thank you guys for listening to the podcast each and every week. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, if you happen to be listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review, as to help more people discover VypDrive. And like I said earlier in this episode, I am trying to get back into the top 200 of Apple Podcasts in the tech space, because that's where this podcast belongs. This podcast is on the rise, and we deserve to be in the top 200. And I can only achieve that if you guys leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts. So please consider doing that so we can get VypDrive back into the top 200 where it belongs. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.